Guts alone adventure. 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 That might be what's happening today. I don't know. But today we're gonna be reading three. We're reading 3 chapters. 37, 38, 39. The first one being Skeleton Night, and then start of the Eve Lasting Night. I thought it said Everlasting. I can't read. And then The Fallen Hawk. We're gonna be reading those 3 today, seeing what's going on, seeing how the story progresses after this. See if Guts alone adventure. See if what the hell's going on with him, because that's my goat and I love him. But reading the next 3 chapters, the last reading was so tight. Oh my god, the Guts versus Griffith fight. Oh, it was so good. I was talking to my friend about it, which he also reads Berserk. He actually started reading like not that long before me, and we had no plan to like be reading it at the same time. We just both happened to start, and so it's fun getting to talk to you guys every week, and also fun getting to talk to him because he's decently ahead of me now. But it's so fun to talk about. I love talking about it. It's so tight. I couldn't imagine reading this and just having no one to talk about it with. So thanks for that. But yeah, we're gonna be reading the next 3 chapters. Hold on, I have to sneeze. Fuck. Okay. We're gonna be starting the next 3 chapters. We're gonna get this shit rolling. And this is also the start of like volume 9 of the little ones. So that's exciting. We're almost to the double digits of the little volumes. We're like halfway through, over halfway through the deluxe edition 3. I'm gonna have to order 4 here soon. Oh, the collection's growing. Oh, I eventually want to post a picture of where my shelf with Berserk. I gave it its own shelf, just like right at the top of one of my bookshelves. It just has its own slot, and I'm just gonna fill it up with Berserk. Because it deserves it. Honestly, it's really good. I need to shave. Holy shit. My face is getting a little scruffy. But I guess we're just gonna start. Let's start the reading. Where's the chapter called Skeleton Night? I can't flip the page. There we go. And let's begin. So we open up with, I'm gonna move my mic down a little bit. We open up with some beautiful landscape, bunch of trees and mountains. At the nighttime, the moon. We get a very spooky looking owl, and we get Guts around a campfire by himself, and an owl going ooh 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 ooh. Rate my owl impression in the comments. There's an owl, and Guts is just sitting by the fire. And I think he heard a noise, and he instantly grabs his sword. And he's looking, it's like a fox, and he's sweating a little bit, still making him a little antsy. And he just leans back going, ugh, why am I so scared? Looking up at the sky, alone. Yeah, it's been a while since I camped alone like this. And then we get the flowery text bubbles again. When I think about it, I haven't truly been alone once these 3 years. I'd forgotten this sense of unease unless my sword's right next to me. I'd forgotten that the night was this vast and deep, and great imagery right here of Guts with the campfire as the only light around him, and he's surrounded by complete darkness. And he's thinking back then, it never occurred to me I could have avoided nights like this. I never even thought to try. Woo-hoo! Woohoo! I'm really good at owl impressions. And he's thinking about his time with the hawk, and everyone's so happy and buds and chummy. We got Pippin, Casca, Rickert, Judo, Griffith, Corcus, and Guts, and they're all just being all cute. Maybe I'm once again trying to throw away something irreplaceable that I'll never have again. To be honest, as long as I can feel warm, isn't that good enough? Am I trying to let go of an irreplaceable today for some vague tomorrow I might never find, even if it exists? Even without some big, exaggerated dream, people go on living. It's true. In the first place, I got this idea in my head from hearing Griffith's words. If I hadn't. Hearing Griffith's... I spaced that weird. Let me do that again. In the first place, I got this idea in my head from hearing Griffith's words. If I hadn't... So... Can I say I've set out my own will? After all, and he's thinking about Griffith, and he's thinking about what Cork has said. Cork is saying, "You can never become Griffith." That's how he sounds now. And he goes, "That's not today anymore. It's yesterday." And a big gust of wind or something huge happening. Something happening, and Guts is like, there's a shadow behind him with light eyes, and it looks like a demon of some kind, somewhat, I don't know, recognizable, but we'll see. And he flinches back and he grabs his sword and he's ready for combat. And he looks and there's nothing. He's like, what was that? That bloodthirstiness. A beast? No. I remember this. This is this savagery that feels like it clings. Could it be? And he's thinking about Zod, thinking about just a demon beast. And he's sensing the bloodthirstiness, and again, he's imagining it behind him, or is it actually there? It's probably imagining it. Is being alone making him really this uneasy now? He goes, "It blindsided me that easily. I couldn't even react. I can't move. If I move, that's when I'll be killed." And he's something big behind him, and he swings the sword around to slice at it. And there's nothing there. And he looks up at the sky, and there's things above him floating, I guess. And he sees a skull. And he sees a skeleton, maybe the Skeleton Knight. I would assume it's the skeleton. Well, I'm so fucking stupid. Of course the goddamn skeleton. Okay, epic. I thought he was wearing sunglasses at first, but he's not. It would have been fucking cool if he was. Yeah, skeleton man just on a horse, an armored horse. Is that actually there? It must be. And Guts goes, "Impossible. I'm sure he was right behind me. I've never misread an enemy's presence once. I could have sworn he's trying to bring his sword down on me." Zod? No, it's not. But this weird, unreal feeling. So the gears have indeed begun turning, says the skeleton. Gears? What's that mean? You struggler, take heed. Struggler? The Skeleton Knight continues, very menacingly, by the way. 1 year hence shall be the time of the eclipse. The eclipse is happening in a year. Okay. Let's ingest that information. You and your friends, those yet unseen of the fleshless flesh, and that half of yours determined to rule shall all be gathered then in that place. A torrent of madness, a tempest of death for which the human body could never atone, shall sweep you over. I'm gonna read that again. 1 year hence shall be the time of the eclipse. Okay. You and your friends, those yet unseen of fleshless flesh, I assume like demons? Is he referring to demons? And that half of yours determined to rule shall all be gathered then in that place. A torrent of madness, a tempest of death, for which the human body could never atone, shall sweep you over. But take heed, struggler, you were born from a corpse and began your life from death in the mud. You are closer to death than anyone, thus you excel in escaping it. Guts goes, who is this? I'm wondering that too. What the hell? Struggle, contend, wriggle. That alone is the sword of one who confronts death. Never forget this. Who the hell are you? How do you know about me? In the abyss of despair, only he who stands up with broken sword in hand, perhaps. And Guts goes, wait! And then he vanishes. Okay. And goes, an illusion? No. the Skull Knight. Okay, and then we transition over to a town where it's raining. Is this where they abandoned the hawk cart? Yeah. Yeah. Town where it's raining. We got Charlotte watching out the window, watching at the rain. Now the snow will melt, she says. Please hurry and go to bed, Your Highness. You will catch a cold. Yes, you are dismissed for the day. Her Highness seems depressed. That she does. Or two helpers, two maids leave. Lord Julius, Lord Adonis, and even Her Majesty the Queen have all died in succession. It'd be gloomy. I'd be gloomy too if I lost 3 relatives in a row. But Lord Julius and Lord Adonis aside, Her Highness disliked Her Majesty so much. Don't be foolish. So much the more because they were, in a sense, parent and child. And that makes sense. And she's looking out the window, and she starts walking away from the window. Someone's watching. Someone's near the window, and it's Griffith. Oh, I don't like the way he looks. He looks mighty scary. Griffith just standing on a tree branch, peering into the window. Looking mighty devious and scary. They really put a lot of definition on his face in this panel. And Charlotte's going, "Huh? Huh?" And the maids come back. Is something the matter? Oh, it's nothing. Go. And then she sneaks towards the window. The maids are gone, and she opens the window to Griffith. She goes, Lord Griffith, what in the world are you doing in the rain and at this hour? Good evening, Princess Charlotte. It would be a terrible uproar if it were known that a gentleman had entered this palace alone this late. If anyone were to see you, therefore, if Her Highness doesn't object, would she permit me to enter her home? If someone were to see me now, it would inflict damage upon your honor. Besides, it's rather difficult to keep one's balance out here. He's like joking around a little bit. This isn't good. This is not good. Nothing good is going to come from this. Especially with how pissed off Griffith was at the end of last chapter. He goes, your pardon, and he enters the room. Forgive me for dripping so much water into a lady's chambers, and for my impoliteness in visiting so late. And she rushes him and she hugs him. He's dripping wet from the rain. This is making me really nervous. And she goes, I've missed you since that day half a year ago. Ever since we partied that morning you went to war. I've been so scared ever since that day you left. She's crying, talking to Griffith. I'd wake up so many times breathless from nightmares that you had died on the battlefield. And then once you came back safely, that dreadful thing happened at the victory ball. I passed out. When I woke up, it was my stepmother who... I never did manage to come to terms with her. I didn't even try. Nothing but frightening and sad things have happened. I've been so alone. Why didn't you come to see me sooner than this? And he's like not even paying attention. He's like not even paying attention to her. He's not even paying attention to her. And then he peers down at her with his eyes looking so fucking devious, and then he smooches her. Ooh, okay. Bad. This is bad. This is not gonna go well. Because, I mean, there's that whole thing. Chapter's over, by the way. Chapter end. Discussion time now. Fuck. This is bad. This isn't good. I can't imagine good thing coming from this. And, I mean, they were talking. There was the discussion about, like, him, trying to get closer to Charlotte because that would help him rank up. But this isn't like Griffith. I don't think this is like Griffith at all. He's fucked up. He's fucked up. This is a bad situation, I think. Oh, okay. And that stuff with the skeleton knight. After the reading, I'm definitely going to go back and reread what he was saying. A lot of it kind of went over my head, to be honest. I mean, there's the eclipse, and he's talking about a year from now, but a year from now, things will happen. And I'm assuming it's supposed to be kind of confusing and like ominous and like spooky. Nothing really direct. I'm assuming that's how it's supposed to be. And then we'll come back to it when the eclipse is happening and like remember everything. But a lot of it kind of honestly went over my head. Um, makes me feel dumb as shit. I I I don't understand exactly what he was meaning, but I guess I'm gonna assume I'm not supposed to. But this shit with Griffith, this is, as I said, this is bad. This is gonna end poorly. I don't know what his goal is here. But I guess we'll move on to the next chapter. Let's see if any of my questions get answered. The Skeleton Knight, very ominous. I assume it's obviously another demon. That's why Guts kind of felt the same presence as he did with Zod. But I kind of thought it was Zod because this is like only the second demon Guts has ever seen. So it's like the same vibe. Like the demon gives off the same vibe as Zod, obviously, because they're both demons. And why did he go tell Guts all of that? Like why Guts in particular? It's very interesting. Another mystery. More mystery, more things being set up. I love that. I love just like I kind of love not knowing things. Like something gets introduced and then it's like, okay, well, that's there now to plant a seed and then we'll come back to it later. It's so interesting to think about. And I'm gonna theorize the fuck out of that. And the more we read, the more I'll theorize. But we're gonna continue. Guts making the move on Princess Charlotte, though. Oh my god, this is bad. Anyway, let's continue. Start of the everlasting night. Wait, it's everlasting? Hold on. Is there a typo in this? Oh, okay. So there's just a typo. There's just a typo in the contents. It says Eve Lasting Night in the contents of my deluxe edition, but this says Start of the Everlasting Night. Okay, just a typo. Okay, I'm like, I thought it was Everlasting, but I'm like, Eve Lasting makes sense. It's like Berserk. They say weird shit sometimes. But anyway, let's continue. Start of the Everlasting Night. Okay. And yeah, they're just kind of kissing. Charlotte like pulls away, but then they keep going. She's like low-key fighting against it. Or she's trying to pull away, thinking it's like improper, but they're making out, tongue and everything. Griffith's grabbing her all over, grabbing her face, grabbing her boob, her ass and shit. And she like kind of was like trying to pull away from him, but he's like kind of latched onto her. So this is fucking not good. This is really bad. Yeah, so they're doing that. She's blushing kinda. And she goes, no, no. And he just is not paying attention. He's got his eyes make this seem like fucking horrible. She falls onto the bed. He falls on top of her. And then face to face, lying down, Griffith goes, "Are you afraid? I'll take all of the frightening and sad things." And he starts lifting up her skirt, her dress. "I'll take all the frightening and sad things and cast them into the fire." Okay, yeah, and it looks like they are making love, having sex. It looks like that is what's happening. Yeah, this isn't good. This is not good. And we cut over to the rest of the band of the Hawk. Still raining. You see Rickert and Pippin sitting at a table, and Rickert goes, It sure is raining." And then Casca comes in. She goes, Have you guys seen Griffith?" And then Corcus screaming with Judo and Pippin and Rickert all at the same table. And Corcus is yelling, "A fluke, I tell ya, a fluke. I shay no good." So he's drunk and still mad, probably. And then Corcus very drunkily to Rickert goes, isn't that right? Shade its show, little Rickert. And then Rickert answering Casca goes, nope, I haven't seen him since what happened today. Okay, so it's the same day. And Casca just doesn't say anything, and she's walking, and she sees Guts' armor that he was wearing with his broken sword that he had, and she holds onto it. She's like caressing it, kinda. And she's missing Guts, man. She's missing Guts. And we are back to the sex scene. Okay. Won't be describing the details of these scenes. Imagine if I in depth described what was going on. Fuck, they're having sex. But Griffith's eyes, man, and the behel, he got the behel around his neck, still on the necklace, and he's like, he's thinking about Guts, I think. And Guts saying, "You believe that, don't you?" And he's just thinking about Guts while this is going on. And yeah, and he's thinking about when Guts said, "Take care." And they're still going at it. Griffith's eyes looking rather devious. And yeah, they're still just going at it. And we get over to Casca by a window, just looking outside at the rain. Very, very sad looking. And we get the maids. And the maid hears something from the room, from Charlotte's room. And she stares into the keyhole and she sees what's going on. She sees them banging. And then she's like, she just like holds her chest kind of, and then she just starts running off. And time has passed, I assume now, and they are done. Griffith is sitting at the edge of the bed. Charlotte is asleep. And he's like grabbing onto his shoulder wound, and he's like crying. He's like crying. He's putting his hands around his neck. We get this very dark panel of Griffith while he's sitting on the bed. He's like curled up into like the fetal position, just like holding himself. He's very upset. It's probably still all about Guts though. And then Charlotte wakes up and Griffith's gone, and she goes, "Lord Griffith." And her window's open. "Lord Griff." And then he left behind that thing that she gave him, where like it's kind of like the things that the superstitious things of, they're like connected to each other, so they'll always come back. That like little doll thing she gave to him for the war. And he left it behind. I don't remember, did he take, someone answer this question. Did he take that with him to the war? I can't exactly remember. I think he did. I'm pretty sure he did, because that's why he had it. But I kind of remember him being weird about it, or the mom being weird. But I'm pretty sure he took it. Sorry, just kind of a detail I kind of forgot. But I'm pretty sure he took it, from what I remember correctly. And she's holding it. And then she goes, "Ow!" And then she looks under the covers. She looks under the covers and there's blood. And she goes, "Uh-oh." There's just blood on her sheets. And Griffith is leaving the castle now, jumping over the ledges. And then, yep. He's surrounded by many armed guards. They caught him. They are surrounded by many armed guards with spears. And yeah, he's been caught, it appears. And then we get one of the knights, one of the main knights of, I don't remember if we've seen him before. I definitely don't remember his name if we have. But he comes up and he goes, well, if it isn't His Excellency, the future White Phoenix General. Why on earth is the White Hawk sneaking out of the palace at this hour? And Griffith kind of reaches for his sword, and he's like, right, my sword. He doesn't have it. Or he does. I don't think he has it. And the general guy's going, no doubt the details will be determined without haste later. Circumstances pending, you may have committed treason against Midland's royal house. Take him away. And the guards take Griffith away. And he's surrounded by spears and shit. He can't do anything. And then we got a bunch of maids with the king. And the maids are going, I beg you, wait, your majesty. In any case, this is the word of an inexperienced court lady. Perhaps she mistook what she saw in the dark to suspect her highness based on that. And the king goes, silence. And they're approaching Charlotte's room. And Charlotte is in there. She goes, father? Well, whatever is the matter coming here so early? They are now face to face in the room. Even if you are my father, you should never barge into an adolescent girl's room without permission. How thoughtless. And she has bruises on her. She has bruises on her. There's water on the floor. All signs that he has picked up on. His eyes, very nice panel on his eyes, looking really fucking mad. And the art's great here. Very bold, very detailed. And she goes, father? And he rips off the blanket from her. And she goes, don't! And the blanket's off the bed, and he sees the blood. He sees the blood on the bed sheets. And he goes, Charlotte. And that is the end of the next chapter. So, yeah, really bad. I want to know Griffith's motive behind doing that. Especially if it's the same day as Guts leaving. It seemed the whole time he didn't even care about, like... He was just thinking about Guts the whole time, right? He's just thinking about Guts, but I don't know what would make him do that with Charlotte. It's fucked. But beside all that with Griffith and stuff, we got Tosca missing Guts incredibly. Cork is talking shit as always, but goddamn, what a I'm like stun locked. I don't know what to say about that chapter. It's rattling my brain about what's going on. We're getting a lot of shit going on in these chapters. We're getting a lot of questions, which I love. I love that. But I want to find out the motives. I still want to find out what's going on with the Skeleton Knight and Guts. But anyway, let's move on to the last chapter of the reading. The Fallen Hawk. Okay. And we get Griffith just in a torture chamber, strung up with like metal cuffs from the ceiling by his hands. His hands are up, and he's tied up. And it looks like the king has entered. Don't really see him without his hat. And he goes, Griffith. And Griffith's just sitting there looking at him. Or standing there, I guess. I think he's definitely off the floor. It had been my great hope that someday you would have shouldered a large part of Midland's army as a military genius. Those words I said to you then were no fiction. Griffith's silent. There were not a few who slandered your group as a band of thieves, but I didn't think so. Each time the Band of the Hawk distinguished itself on the battlefield, it heightened my assertion. For some time, I've held that a knight's merit is not derived from lineage or social position, but that the stress should be instead placed on his actions and use of resources. However, and he grabs a whip and he whips Griffith, leaving a nasty slash mark on Griffith's side. A thief is still a thief. Is common blood beyond redemption? And Griffith's sitting there not saying anything and just staring. My foolish daughter. It's as if she doesn't understand what it means to be of her status, the importance of the succession of royal blood. The princess of a kingdom behaves with the rashness of some townsgirl. Her frivolity is excessive. But even so, even that foolish, frivolous girl, and he whipping Griffith in the face this time, is everything to me. I would give myself, even this kingdom, in exchange for her. She's my whole life. And he's whipping the fuck out of Griffith, hitting everything, blood splattering everywhere. And the king goes on. What value is there in this world? Wars rage on and people's lives are lost like they were insects. After how many decades of war and how many tens of thousands of corpses, we finally built time of remembered peace, but it's only for an instant. On the underside, the monster named war is always seeking new blood, starting to brew itself anew. Yeah, the king's speaking facts here. In the face of that monster, the will of one land's king is powerless. The wisdom of one man is folly, and yet I cannot cease being king. There's no way I can stop. Whipping the shit out of Griffith. In this blood-stained, meaningless world, if there is no one single ray of hope to be found, it is warmth. Only warmth covers and protects me from this world. And Griffith's still silent, not saying anything. With dead eyes. And yeah, the king's still beating the shit out of him. You've taken the one flower that gives me warmth and plucked it. Unforgivable. Ah, alas, my poor Charlotte. I've raised her for 17 years. She's known no impurity. Now that she's given herself up to this sport of a commoner, I'd rather that... And Griffith goes, that it'd be you? And interesting. I'd rather a sport of a commoner. I'd rather that. And Griffith goes, that it'd be you. And the king is startled, staring at Griffith. Griffith goes on, do you want to have Princess Charlotte yourself? No. Don't you want her to have you? And the king goes, what are you? And Griffith goes, I thought it was strange. In Princess Charlotte's 17 years, there have been many profitable proposals of marriage. Rather, political marriage is the way of the world for warring nations, but you've refused to let go of her. The king on the throne of Midland, once renowned with majesty throughout all lands, is actually nothing more than a lonely, miserable old man who can't find any reason to live behind his 17-year-old daughter. Ooh, fuck. You've lived on by resigning yourself to the monster you envision. But you by no means tried to harness that monster. While you were born to the sword called the throne and held it, it was nothing more than a burden to you. And he's going, how dare you? Griffith continues, you've done nothing more than not fail. How worthless. Ooh, Griffith, I don't know if you're in a position to be saying those things when the man has a fucking whip like this. And the king goes, silence, and just starts wailing into Griffith with this fucking whip. He goes, silence, 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 silence. He's freaking the fuck out. And he's going, be silent. And Griffith's getting torn apart by this whip. And the king goes, what the hell do you know? What does a fool like you know of being king? The land, the history, the lives of the people, all on your shoulders. What do you know? And the soldiers are looking horrified. Griffith is fucked up. And still with a cheeky ass smile under him getting his ass beat. The king is surprised. And the king goes, fine. I wonder if that look will last forever. Torturer. And the little torturer gremlin looking man going, Shire? And he's walking up with tools and stuff to torture Griffith and going, yes, Shire, bowing to the king. Do whatever you wish with this man. He has sinned gravely against Midland's royal house. You're certain? However, you must not kill him. However feebly he shall live another year. Okay. He shall be made to see the gravity of his crime while he yet draws breath. And the torturer's going, oh, just giggling. The king's going, listen, I forbid you to tell anyone about this. Be my royal judicial power. I charge this man personally with treason against Midland's royal house. I must somehow protect my daughter's dignity. And he's gripping the rope, almost about to break the hilt of it. If I were to hear about this from anyone else, even just a trifle, you and your entire household, without exception, will be sentenced to death. Yes, sir. This includes the knights that are with him, too. You are young. No doubt your heart burned with dreams and ambition. If you had but known your place, you might possibly have attained them. No, this must have been because you're young. It's disappointing that the White Hawk of the battlefield would destroy himself over such a worthless matter. I never would have guessed. This is the end of your dreams, your ambition, everything. The hawk has fallen to earth. It will never take flight again. And very nice imagery of the door shutting and darkness filling the room. And the king continues after leaving the room. Where is Charlotte? And one of the knights going, until a bit ago, a bit ago she had been crying, but the doctor gave her medicine and she just fell asleep. Until I say otherwise, no one come near this room, and triple the current number of palace guards. And he's looking at his daughter, sleeping. And he's looking at her and he goes, Charlotte, the years have so brought out her mother's face. And he touches her face. And he's thinking, so he touched these lips. And he's looking at his daughter. Ugh. And he's pulling down her shirt, or he stops himself. And he goes, so this body was touched by his tongue, his fingers. And he's very disgustingly grabbing Charlotte's boob, undoing her dress and pulling it down, revealing her breasts. The king looking very disgustingly. And she goes, huh? And Charlotte wakes up and she sees just her dad licking her boob. He's just licking it. And then she screams, no! Obviously, fucking disgusting. And we cut back to Griffith in the chamber. And he goes, yes, worthless. This is worthless. Fallen Hawk end. Oh, holy fuck. Griffith was right. Honestly, when Griffith was saying that shit about the king, it's Griffith, so I assumed he was right and knew what he was talking about. I mean, the king going on about his stuff and the king saying all that stuff. I mean, I did like, as being the king, I got why he was so pissed off at this situation. But man, when Griffith was talking, I'm like, even though Griffith did a fucking weird and fucked up thing, I kind of just felt like he was right, and the king was obviously, now we know, a fucking disgusting old man, as Griffith was saying. Oh god damn, horrendous stuff. And now Griffith is tied up, supposed to in the torture chamber, supposed to be there for another year. And holy shit, wait, a year. That's when the eclipse happens in a year. Interesting. The eclipse happens in a year, and Griffith's supposed to be getting tortured for a year. Oh, he still has the behelit. Very interesting. But yeah, the stuff with Charlotte is fucking gross, and the king gross, and oh god, I hate him, so uncomfortable. Griffith boomed him kinda. Maybe this is part of Griffith's plan. But god damn, maybe he was expecting to be caught, I assume. I think if he was expecting to be caught, but like wanted to avoid it, he would have left in the middle of the night. But he probably got caught on purpose, so this interaction could happen. But god damn,
Oh, the stuff with the king. Bros. I thought he was like cool. Oh, I thought he was cool. I'm like finally like a cool noble in the story, but no, he's just a fucking dirty, disgusting old man. Oh, fuck, that bummed me out. I do think that was a good stopping point though. These chapters were insane. Absolutely insane. And I'm very excited to continue and see where this goes. Catch up with Guts. See what's gonna happen with Griffith. See what's gonna happen with the Band of the Hawk. See what's gonna happen with Charlotte. I feel so bad for Charlotte, man. Oh, Charlotte doesn't deserve this shit. But anyway, that is going to be it for the reading today. Fuck the king. He sucks. Hope he dies. um, Griffith outing him like that was badass. All part of a plan. Griffith has a plan. He always has a plan. He's just so damn smart. But that is going to be it for the reading today. And I will see you guys next week for the next set of chapters. Bye.